Welcome to Auntie Chats and Tarot. We're talking to Virgos. Hello, Virgo. Welcome in. Okay, so let's see. What deck are we going on with here today? Thank you to all who have supported this channel. Really appreciate it. Let's get into your message, remembering that not everything will resonate, but take what does and leave the rest for someone else. And let me know, collective Virgo, what you'd like to be talking about, what you'd like to hear, what's rolling around in your mind that you have questions about. If you want to take a look at it closer, we can do that. Let me know in the comments if there's something in particular you want to be talking about. Here we go. Virgos. I love this deck. It's pretty. Trying to think of the name of it now. Just one moment. It's called Key Tarot of Love. I think it's pronounced Key, K-E-I. And I don't get a kickback, but it's just so beautiful that if you have tarot decks and you don't have that one, you might want to check into it. Virgo, here we go. Five of Swords. Let's get a little further before I commit to my thoughts on that. Nine of Pentacles. Doing well, Virgo. You're doing well. Taking care of yourself, doing well, abundant, but also giving back. This is after a period of some sort of evaluation, self-improvement. You've been working on this. Two of Wands is here. Look into your future. Making some decisions there. You have a couple of choices. This could be, I'm getting some graduation too happening here in your family for you. King of Wands. Dynamic energy here. Dynamic person, dynamic opportunities. You're being crowned. You're being also guided by a beloved family member, individual friend that's on the other side. You feel their presence a lot. They're always with you. They're with you during this celebration here. Know that. Three of Cups. Yeah, celebration. Exactly. Queen of Wands. There's a divine partnership here. King and Queen of Wands. The plot thickens. Let's get further. I'm going to grab a charm on that. This relationship, this divine partnership is very transformative. You've got the dragon here. Or it takes place this year. It's maybe something new, or it's coming in this year. And you've got the ladybug, good fortune. This is good fortune that you find each other. That you come together. This is a lucky year for you. That includes a lot of celebration and your divine partner coming in. Wow, cool. It is all based on, your base here is working on self. Reevaluating some things that you've been doing in life, changing it up. You see quick results there after that work. Four of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, I feel like something kind of got under your skin, caused you to reevaluate, take a time out, rethink things, take a rest. And when you came out of this, you were like, it's like a rebirth, a new start, a heavy-duty shadow work maybe even. Yeah, definitely something about shadow work being done. Five of Cups, Ten of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. You got grounded. You ended something. You ended bad habits, bad patterns. Bad habits and patterns that didn't serve. that were leaving you in a state of, is this all there is? Something like that. Dream big. Now your attitude is, I need to dream bigger. I'm dreaming bigger. I'm really going for it. You know, the big dreams you had as a child. I want to be an astronaut, something huge, you know. It's like you're going for that, but you're paring it down just a little bit. Two of Cups, yeah. Here's your divine counterpart. We see you. Two of Cups is here. That's significant soulmate energy. And you've got the Queen of Swords here. You cut some things out, and that allowed really good energy to come in for you. On the bottom of the deck, however, we have the Seven of Swords. And the Devil follows that. I'm going to also take the third card that follows. It's the Fool. You don't see that you, or you do see, but you took a leap from toxicity and deceit. And I'm hearing this is both in partnership. Let me make sure I get this right. This is both how you were acting and what you were drawing in. So you were around that a lot, and then you started adopting that kind of toxicity, you know, not telling truths, walking in some sort of toxicity that you have now mastered through shadow work, figured it out, where that came from, why you embraced that, what that meant to you, and cutting it out. Queen of Swords. Just some really good energy going on here. That's brought a lot of prosperity into you. That's brought a lot of good relations into you, particularly one that's a soulmate connection. I see a lot of celebration here in your honor. It's because you got grounded. You refocused. You put an end to things that were toxic. You moved with what you had, I'm hearing, not what you didn't have. Some of the toxicity had to do with what you didn't have. It triggered you, and it's like a tailspin, something like that. Worried about what you don't have, what you don't have. Now you come at it with a lot more grace, and you're grateful for what you have, and you run with that. But we'll get some clarifiers out here. We're getting kind of deep with just a initial message already. Wow. Wow. This could bring some of you to tears. I do feel some of that emotion. Could, I'm hearing, bring others that know you to tears. Some sort of total transformation here. I think you were running in this toxic group in such a way that you were really pulling back from the people that cared about you, the situations that were really meaningful. But you kind of were in some sort of illusion about what was meaningful. 9 of Wands in the reverse here. It really, the toxic situation really depleted you. That was the need for the rest. But you're coming out of that now. What's the 5 of Swords here, Spirit? The work that you did, in particular, I do feel it is a lot of shadow work on self, has caused energy to move now for you. You know, you thought energy was moving when you were in this toxic situation, but really it wasn't. It wasn't moving at all for you. It was very stagnant. Now it truly moves. Now you really see. Now there's a lot of celebration here for you. And success, abundance, yeah. There was good news that came with this work that you did on self. see 2 or 3 cards here talking about the beginnings of abundance. New beginnings. A lot of good fortune here. Who's our King of Wands here? This divine partnership comes in. It's the 6 of Pentacles in the reverse and the Devil. This could be a Capricorn that comes in. That's this King of Wands. These 2 cards together here are telling me this is somebody who there's some sort of pattern that you've lived where you are giving more in a relationship, and it becomes very toxic. That's part of that depleting energy, that 9 of Wands that's now in the reverse. But in the upright, that's a wounded warrior. So giving and giving to something. But with these cards in the reverse, it's like an acknowledgement of that and not having that toxicity, that energy in a relationship anymore. You did so much of the work. It's like a stronghold, maybe even something you grew up with, where you provided for your parents or something at an early age, and now when you get in relationships, you do that. You provide more. This King of Wands is the reverse of that. Or if you're the King of Wands, that's part of your shadow work that you've done here. And remember, somebody on the other side is helping you with this. So maybe in meditations, you've heard, a voice that's so familiar to you that is this relative on the other side, friend on the other side, someone helping you on the other side. But it's when you're deep in thought, working on this shadow side. And I feel like that's kind of in the past, recent past, is having done the work. 3 of Swords. Something emotional here. What's the 3 of Swords here? Spirit. I think this whole journey has been emotional for you. Oh, 4 of Pentacles. Your pattern has consisted of hanging on to that hurt. This is what relationships have meant to you. And it's just so ingrained in you that you don't get very much back. That relationships mean pain. That's why you've had to sit back and really work through that. Because it's an illusion you were in. It's part of this toxicity and 7 of Swords that we talked about that you are leaping away from. It's some sort of illusion where this is what love is a giving, and being disappointed or in pain. And, it seems like somewhat of a given that isn't healthy, or you wouldn't think that way. And yet there are a lot of deep-seated things that we operate under on a daily basis that we take as the truth maybe, or how things are, without saying, do they have to be? In this case, no. You figured that out. There are many things in my life, many people will relate to this, that I did for years till I finally sat down, took a break, take this rest that we see you take, and look at some of that darkness you don't want to look at. And oftentimes come out thinking, why? Why was I doing that? Whatever that is, will be different for everybody, for so long. Because now it's so clear to me that wasn't in my best interest. But think of all the years that you don't come to that conclusion. It's that kind of energy. And it's big, hermit. It's something you don't see with your eyes, but then you start feeling with senses about change must take place. You don't see what's right in front of you sometimes because you grew up with it. It's always been this way. Something like that. You start to get enlightened when you hermit and think things through and do the heavy-duty work. And then you start asking the questions. Why didn't I see this? This has been like hiding in plain sight here for me. And that's the type of work we're talking about that you've done. And that's huge. So celebration is here now. That's part of this new energy that surrounds you. Part of it also is this divine connection. A lot of it is abundance, seeing life fresh and anew. Let's find out about this Queen of Swords here. Your match here is a Queen of Wands. We do have the Queen of Swords out here twice. And I think that's the energy of just taking care of things. The Queen of Swords is no bunk. She doesn't take any BS. She just moves through life very one with the truth, speaking the truth, not afraid, no fear, to speak said truth, and to cut things out. And I don't ever see her as cold. I see her as just not a time waster. And of course, you don't waste time when you're learning lessons, but I just don't see her as cold. I see her as more as, I read this, I'm calling a spade here. This is gone, or this is okay to have, and, an editor. I see her as an editor. The Chariot is here. This is fast motion now. And this is energy of strong will, self-confidence, going after it. If there's any doubt, you override that. You just keep moving. Sometimes these old habits will get in your head and they'll talk to you. And it's an old voice, maybe. It's an old way of doing things. And it's a little bit of trickery where you're like, you don't feel so sure-footed in this new environment where you have liberated yourself from this toxicity or these old ways. But don't let the trickery there talk to you for too long. Get grounded. Queen of Pentacles is out here. She's very grounded and nurturing. Nurture yourself. Put an end to that talk. Have the dialogue be different. Be very nurturing to yourself. Remember what you have and run with that. And it's not a lack energy or giving what you have to somebody else so that you're in lack. It's not that anymore, even though I do see there is some sort of pattern here with you and that. Ten of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, putting an ending to things and releasing these burdens and releasing this trickery of the mind. This is the way it's always been done. This is the way it's done. My mom was unhappy in relationships, and she gave and gave and gave. And her mom, something like that. You're the one to step back and say, or my father was the one that did this, and now I do this. You're the one that steps back and says, it's not a martyr energy. It's not even an energy that you spin. So it's like they had to give. They had to give because they had more strength. And so they gave to others in this way. It's looking at that honestly. Did they have more strength than others, or were other people just not doing their part? And if they had more strength than others, should they have been matched with an energy that was more suited to that? Questions only you can answer, but it's like getting more real with the answers and the whys, knowing your whys. What's this Two of Cups here, Spirit? This is a dynamic duo here that you make with this divine partnership coming in. Very dynamic. The Queen of Pentacles. That is so interesting. Queen of Pentacles. You get twice. Very grounding. You also have the Queen of Swords. Very clear. That has helped you bring in the Queen of Wands to the King of Wands, or switch the roles as you feel necessary. It's a grounding and getting real combination that has really helped you to find a lot of abundance here. It's helped you to find your divine match. Coming into your own, there's a lot about self-confidence here and the emotions that it's taken you to get to a point where you're more self-confident. The transformation that you had to take on and the other people. And I do feel like it's a line, it's a lineage of people saying, well, we're the women of the family who have always been treated like this, done this for others. Or we're the men who have always had an issue with this, been kind of a slave to this in a way, mentally, been subject to this. It's something like that. And you're saying, let's look at this a little bit more close. Is this really something that we have to endure? Or are we embracing this for no good reason type thing? Are we saying this is truth, but when I pick it apart, there is no truth here? It's something like that. And maybe you're the only one in your family who's done the work. So you are seeing things that other people haven't seen. The work is definitely not easy. Four of Cups is out here. You're being recognized by the divine for the work that you've done. And I'm also hearing you've always been recognized by the divine, but now you're just finally realizing it too. Four of Cups is all about the divine hand coming in with a cup of love and an opportunity. And a person sitting underneath a tree not seeing it and being upset. And it's this energy of what I don't have. And that's what you started out with in the read. And that's what was the catalyst to get you going with your shadow work. Because the what I don't have brought about a lot of toxicity and connecting with others and kind of a bond there with others who felt similarly, what I don't have. But rather than support each other and work through it in a positive way, it went south. It went very toxic. Four of Cups is here, recognizing the truth we're talking about, recognizing the spiritual realm of your life that's always been there to help you, recognizing your growth, recognizing the shadow for what it is, recognizing the conversations your family has had for generations and what that is. Recognizing. That's part of your celebrations now too. Getting on the other side of all of this. Page of Swords here. Speaking the truth. Wow. And Page of Swords is very precocious, like digging, research. You know, you've done a lot of research on self. You've done a lot of research on family. And now you're coming out with, okay, let's talk some truths here, really. Let's really get down to it. Let's unburden ourselves and speak the truth, I'm hearing. And then it just opens up the Page of Cups. I love the Page of Cups energy. It's like milk and honey. Pigs can fly. You know, then everything just... Something is released. Maybe it's a breaking of generational curses. Definitely an energy that needs to be broken. Two of Wands as you move forward. It's a moving forward with a much lighter energy. and an energy where things come to you, and it's serendipitous, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful energy. Page of Cups, beautiful. Weights are lifted. Two of Swords. Milestones. Milestones in life. Yeah, you were going one way that was toxic. Then you got real with that. First, you got aware of it. Then you got real with it. And now you're like, yeah, we're going to go this way now. Time for a 180. And you know what? The right partners, I'm hearing, could have been coming in all along in your life, and you wouldn't see them because you weren't speaking the truth. You weren't clear on the truth. You're like, yeah, this is just an example. We are women, or we are men of this family who don't take on that type of person. We take on problems and help solve them for others. Not realizing, each individual is responsible for their own happiness and their own self in this life. So those very people that were coming through where you're like, that's just not the type we take on. It was maybe somebody who was really, in their element and successful and healthy and emotionally stable. And it was exactly who you should have taken on. Maybe not then, because see, you were still trapped in this heavy weight of energy that's false. But now you're seeing, oh yeah, these people did come into my life, and I turned a blind eye there. I didn't see them, and I wasn't speaking my truth. And so now that they come in, I can see this match. I can see this happening. I can see where I have risen to the occasion, or I have done a lot of work that surrounds me with energy that isn't intimidated to take this on, but embraces this. 7 of Cups in the reverse. Excellent card for what I'm talking about. The 7 of Cups upright is all about illusions, delusions. You just get lost. There's like so many choices and nothing makes sense after a while. And the more you think, the more confused it gets. And which one do you pick? And, some of them have milk and honey, these cups, and some of them have poisonous serpents. And, they all look the same to you. This is coming out in the reverse, and it's clarity. And kudos to you, because you've done a lot of hard work here. And thus the clarity comes in. And you embrace the clarity. And you don't make excuses for what's happened in the past. You learn from it and you keep moving it. Keep moving. You take what you've got, you're grateful for it, and you keep moving. King of Cups comes out sideways. So the King of Cups is great energy. It's emotionally stable in the upright. Somebody who's just very supportive and nurturing. And in the reverse, it's somebody who's very codependent, can be needy. Their emotions are all over the top, all over the place. This is coming out sideways, and I think it's a nod to this is a daily practice that you have to have, and that's all of us in different areas. When we work the shadow, it's a daily work, and so you're always kind of teetering on listening to that falseness, listening to the trickery, and falling into bad habits, bad patterns, things that don't serve you. I like that phrase a lot better. So it's a daily, staying balanced. I've done the work. I'm moving forward. Yes, I'm grateful for what I have. No, I no longer am in this energy that attracts other bonding energy that's like, what we don't have, we deserve it. But you're not doing the work. You've done the work now. You know what you've got. You know what you have to be grateful for. You know what's coming in because of the work you've done. You're balanced. You stay balanced. You're nurturing. You're supportive. And you're doing that with someone who does that for you as well. Okay. Four of Wands is here, and that leads to, again, another card talking about a lot of celebration and a lot of abundance. And this is with family too. So maybe that's a wish of yours, was to always have family. And you're like, I'm not in the right spot. I'm not with the right partner. I'm not in the right mindset to have family. But that's past energy, because I think you've worked on a lot of that to put yourself in a headspace where you're like, yeah, I could take that on now for sure. I feel much more healthy in taking that step, much more confident in taking that kind of a step. The Wheel of Fortune, and it comes out in the reverse. So just remember, you want to be on the side of the wheel that turns upright, good fortune. This is talking about the reverse of that. Let's find out more. So something that isn't lucky. What are we talking about here? The Eight of Cups, staying in. Oh yeah, okay, I get it. Don't stay in something that's unlucky, that's not serving you. That's past energy. You recognize it. And you recognize it faster and faster too with each day that you work at this. Ten of Cups, yeah. Because you recognize what your happily ever after is. And whatever doesn't serve that vision, doesn't serve that energy, you're becoming all too familiar with, very familiar with. Buddy, you know that energy of your happily ever after now. It is becoming a part of you, and you it. And whatever doesn't serve you, that feels unlucky, that feels like it's not for you, that feels like a rejection, you recognize it as protection. You walk away because you're all about my happily ever after now and sitting in my own self-confidence here with that energy. Yeah, and you get the Five of Cups twice. This is at the bottom of the deck, the second deck we're using, which again is a reminder that you are taking what's available to you and you're grateful and you're running with it. There's no more what I don't have. What I don't have, that energy somehow brought you to the toxic group that you were running with and the toxicity that you were running in. Something about what you didn't have brought you to that toxic route that you have worked very hard to get out of now. So there's not any returning to that. It's a clarity on that Ten of Cups, you're happily ever after. And it does have something to do with an amazing connection that's coming in. With your Two of Cups, your Queen and King of Wands here. And abundance and celebration. I do see a lot of cards of celebrating. And maybe even, as I saw early on, like some sort of graduation. Like you have graduated out of this energy, or maybe this is a literal graduation. And because you have worked your shadow side, you have, cracked the books again, gotten yourself to another place education-wise. Yeah, terrific. I'm loving it. Lots of success here for you, but you've done the hard work, and it's hard. Very difficult work. And you know that now, and you know that is also part of your self-confidence, is because the work was so hard. You never are doubting yourself. You're like, oh my gosh, if I got through that, now I'm running with a lot of self-confidence, and I'm never returning back because that work was just that hard. Your angel wish is seeing a rainbow is a sign from your loved ones in spirit. And I think that's a nod to, as I saw early on, someone on the other side that's helped you with this. I feel like some of you have heard this person's voice or what they would say. Some sort of phrase came through when you were meditating, or quiet and listening to the mind. And came in some phrase that they would say, and you felt like they were talking with you. And I feel like they were too. And they helped you somehow turn this around. Let's grab an oracle. Virgos. Wow. Time has flown. Maybe that's a sentiment you're having too. Something about time flying. Time has flown. It's the oracle out here for our Virgo. Okay, there it is. Cleaning it up. That's exactly what you did. Did a lot of cleaning up, cleaning house. Cleaning up that toxicity, liberating yourself from it, dusting yourself off, literally, and moving forward with the strength of a stag. Now that's super leadership. Yeah. And I think it's also an embracing the feminine and the masculine energies within. And it's such a beautiful combination. And it's also a nod to that being very grounded and clear that we saw, and the energy of the stable, emotionally stable, stability, emotional stability. Yeah, with the King of Cups. Now remember, it came out sideways. We want it always to be upright. I mean, it's not always going to be upright. You know, every day is new, but you got to work at it. Work at it to make sure you're getting there where you're emotionally stable. You're nurturing and you're caring and you're supportive and you're receiving that from others. And it's an everyday work at it type situation. That's why the mountains are there on that card, because it's a climb every day. But every day gets easier too. You know, then it becomes habit, and it's a good habit. It becomes pattern, and it's a good pattern. That is your message, Virgo. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you like this message in this channel. And if you do, please like, share, subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow. And until next time, what do we remember? We remember who we are. We remember our self-worth. Thanks for joining me.